हेलो हाय एवरीवन, माय नेम इज आकाश एंड आज हम पढ़ेंगे ह्यूमन आई के बारे में. सो वेलकम टू बोर्ड ब्रह्मास्त्र. इट इज अ सीरीज स्पेशली फॉर योर CBSE बोर्ड एग्जाम्स. And by the way, do you recognize me? I used to wear specs, right? And now I'm wearing something different. Why? And I was on leave for last week because I had a surgery. I have to remove the glasses. But today we are going to learn the specs that I used to wear, why they are useful, why people wear it. Okay, and I'm using these are goggles just to protect my eyes from this lot of light here. Okay, all right, let's begin. So if anyone who is new, hi Ganesh, Lion, Techno, Hussein, Saurav, Biology, Jonathan. All right everyone, let's begin. So if anyone is new to these classes, this is about me. I have PhD in physics from National University of Singapore. I have BSMS dual degree from IISER Pune, and before that I was also ranked in the merit list of IIT Advanced. All right everyone, so this is a star question. So what I'll do is, every class in the beginning I'll give you one star question, which is like, if this question come in your exam, for your board exam, it would be like 4 or 5 marks question. This looks very simple, but this will be like 4 or 5 mark question, and try to solve it. If you couldn't solve it, just hold on. By the end of this session, we'll solve it at the end. Okay, so just note down this question, take a screenshot, try to solve it. If you can't solve it, just hold and we'll solve it at the end. All right, so we are going to learn about human eye. So tell me about, what do you know about human eye? You must have learned it in grade 8, right? सबने पढ़ा है आपने? Yes, सबने पढ़ा है human eye क्या होता है. तो there is a human eye जो कि around 2.3-2.5 सेंटीमीटर उसका डायमीटर होता है, बहुत स्मॉल होता है, right? It is very small and there are different parts of it. So let's understand the structure of the human eye. It has the sclera. What is the sclera? This white region is called as sclera. Inside of that there is a cornea. This here, this region is cornea. Okay, then inside of that there is a pupil. This opening here is the pupil, and this iris is this membrane which gives color to our eyes. Then we have lens. So this is human eye's direct application of spherical lens. We have learned now spherical lens, and these are the ciliary muscles, these blue colored ones. We are going to learn each one of them step by step. Then there is a retina and the optic nerve. So let's understand the working of the human eye. So when the light comes and fall onto the human eye, the first part it encounters is the cornea. So what happens at the cornea? Most of the refraction, it happens at the cornea. Then what is this pupil and iris? So iris is the membrane which controls the size of the pupil. And what is this pupil? You must have seen DSLR camera, right? In the DSLR camera there is a aperture. So you control the light which is going inside the camera, correct? So that aperture is nothing but the pupil, and the size of the pupil is controlled by the iris. Then what is this lens? So this lens, you see this lens, it changed the shape. So when this lens change the shape, so what happens? It just try to focus the beam onto the retina. So this retina is nothing but the screen. So we are getting real image, correct? And there is an optical nerve which carries the signal to the brain, and brain interprets the signal. All right, there is a working. So let's understand again. Sclera, the white color, white coat of the eye, it protects the eye from the outside damage, from the accidents. So it is very tough. So it protects the interior parts of the eye. Then we have the cornea. Cornea is this, you see this color, like light blue color. So there is a cornea. Most of the refraction which happens inside the eye. So refraction meaning just bending of light. So most of the light bends at this region. It does not bend at the lens. So a lot of times we confuse. So where is the most of the refraction occurs? It occurs at the outer layer of the cornea, not at the lens. Lens only focus the rays on the retina. Then iris, you see the different colors of the eye. So some people they have gray colors, some people they have blue color eyes, correct? Some have brown, I have like grayish or black color. So different people have different colors. So the color to the eye is due to the iris. And what is the purpose or what is the requirement of the iris? It controls the size of the pupil. What is pupil? This black color thing. You see the black color region, there is a pupil. So tell me why it is black color? Any idea? Do you know why the color of the pupil is black? It's very easy. Have you seen a completely dark room? So inside the dark room, let's suppose if you are outside the dark room and if you try to look inside, it looks dark. Why it looks dark? Because there is no light coming out. So all the light which goes into the eye will be absorbed. So no light comes out. That is the reason pupil looks, yes, correct. Correct. It absorbs all the light. Inside the eye, all the light will be absorbed. Nice. So let's suppose if you are in the dark room, what will be the size of the pupil? Will it be larger or smaller in the dark room? You see this pupil? The size of the pupil change and the iris controls the size of the pupil. So when iris relax, then pupil contracts. You see the small pupil? And when iris contracts, pupil dilates. Dilates means expand. So this happens in the dark region, dark room. And when pupil contracts, in the bright light. If there is a bright light, you see the very small pupil. In humans, the size of the pupil does not change that much. But if you have seen cats or dogs, their pupil size change a lot. Just look at the pictures of the cat on Google. You will find amazing pictures with different size of the pupil. Okay, so now the retina, you see this reddish color? This is the retina. Retina is nothing but the screen. So we are getting the real and inverted image. In lens, we have learned. When do we get real and inverted image? Using the convex lens, correct? So this retina is nothing but the screen. So there are a lot of sensory cells which captures this image and convert it into electrical signal. So that electrical signal is taken to the brain by the optic nerve. Optic nerve, the purpose is to just carry the signal and brain interprets. So we don't see the world upside down. Why? Because our brain interprets the signal. So it corrects, it inverts. अमेरिका सेल क्या होता है? I don't know. Hi everyone. Lemon, Kiran, Purabhi, Ria. Nice, lot of you today. Awesome. So now there are different types of cell which are present on the retina. What are those? There are cones and rods. The cones are sensitive to the bright light. So if you are in the open bright light, you see the colors very easily, right? Because the cones are working properly. But let's suppose if you go in the dim light or during the evening time, so then these rods are the ones which sense the pictures, and these rods, they are not sensitive to colors. They do not sense colors. That is why if it is dim light, the color visibility also goes down. In bright light, color visibility is strong due to the cones. Okay? So now there is a retina and there is an optical nerve. So there is a junction between the retina and the optical nerve that is called as blind spot. So at the blind spot there are no sensory cells, and that is the reason if the image is formed at the blind spot, you do not get any, you can't see. If let's say the object is kept at this location and the image is formed at this blind spot, you cannot see that object. There is a very small point in front of your eye where you cannot see the image, you cannot see the object. That is because the image is forming at the blind spot. Alright, so now lot of bio we have discussed. So now come back to the physics. And what is physics? Here we have the lens. What is the shape of the lens? Do you recognize? We have learned in the last class. What type of lens is this? It is the convex lens. And what type of image it is formed? The nature of the image is inverted. It is real because we are getting the image on the retina, that is, image is forming on the screen. So real and inverted. So is this image enlarged or is it diminished? This is diminished image. So if it is diminished image, real and inverted, can you tell me what is the location where this image must be forming? So do you remember convex lens? If there is a convex lens, there is an optical center f1 to f1, then we have here f2 and 2f2. So if it is real and inverted and diminished image, so image must be forming somewhere here between f2 and 2f2. There is a location of the image. So where should be the object? So the object should be anywhere between beyond 2f1, at f1 or beyond 2f1. If the object is at 2f1, image would be same size, but generally this doesn't happen. So I will come to that. What is the minimum distance? Where should you place the object? Do you know what is the minimum distance required to keep the object? Correct. Nice, Anshika. Awesome. So the question for you, I'll read the question. What is the power of the eye lens if the object is placed at infinity? So something like this. Object is very far at infinity. Do you know any object which is like very far at infinity? Something like moon or sun, stars. So those are the objects placed at infinity. So at that location, what is the power of the eye lens? Can you calculate? And what is given? So assume that the distance between retina and the eye lens is 2.5 centimeter. So we can draw, there is a lens and retina is like a screen, correct? So this is the retina. There is a lens. So image is forming at the retina. So what is this distance? This will be our V. And what is V given as? 2.5 centimeter. So V is 2.5 centimeter. So now object is at infinity. So there is the object at infinity. That means what is U? U is minus infinity. Correct? So using this information, can you calculate the power of the lens? By the way, do you know what is power of the lens? Power is nothing but 1 by focal length. So this focal length should be in meters. Yes, correct? So now you also know 1 by f is nothing but 1 by v minus 1 by u. So what is v and u? V is the image distance, u is the object distance. So if you substitute that, we'll get 1 by f is nothing but 1 by v. What is v? 2.5. This is positive. It is the real image, correct? So it is 2.5 minus what is u? Minus infinity. This is just minus infinity. So this minus will get cancelled out. So 1 by f is 2.5. So f is 2.5 centimeters. Correct? We need to convert that into meters. So that is nothing but 2.5 divided by 100, these many meters, correct? So what is the power of the lens? Power is 1 divided by f, that is 100 divided by 2.5, these many diopters. This will come out to be 40 diopters. Okay, nice, all of you. Great. So this is the power of the lens if the image is formed on the retina and when the object is placed at infinity. Correct? Alright. So now lot of guys confuse what is the minimum distance and what is the maximum distance. the eye can see. These are also called as near point and far point. So what is the far point? Far point is the maximum distance our eye can see objects, and that is nothing but infinity. So the far point for the human eye is infinity. Yes, what is your question, Mr. Reality? You can ask. If I get time, I'll try to answer, okay? And what is the near point? Near point means the minimum distance from the eye you should place your mobile or your books and read. You should not bring anything closer to that. If you bring an object closer than 25 centimeter, then it will stress your eyes. We'll study what is meaning of stressing the eyes. If you try to bring the book very close, it is very difficult to focus and you will start getting headaches. So minimum distance is 25 centimeter, around this much length, your length of your hand. Okay? Yes, we'll come to that. What is hypermetropia and myopia? We'll come to that, don't worry. So now you see this shape of the lens. When the object is near, the shape of the lens is thicker. When you bring the object further away, the shape of the lens becomes thinner and thinner. And do you know what is this? Sorry, this is not visible. So this distance is nothing but our V. So this V, which is the image distance, does not change. Why it does not change? Because the shape of the eye is fixed. What is changing? This U. U is changing. And because of that, what is changing? What else is changing? The focal length. Focal length of the eye is changing. How it is changing? Because the focal length of the eye is changing because the shape of the eye is changing. And who is changing this shape? Do you know? Who is changing the shape of the lens? It is the ciliary muscles. So what are these? You see in this image, these are the ciliary muscles. So what they do? When the ciliary muscle is relaxed, then eye lens is thin lens. And when they contract, so they apply the pressure on this lens and lens becomes thick. Thick lens means, so tell me, thin lens will have larger focal length, or which one will have larger focal length? Thinner lens or the thicker lens? So this is the thin and this is the thicker lens. So which lens will have larger focal length? It is the thin lens. This will have larger focal length. Thicker lens will have smaller focal length. Correct? So which lens will have larger power? Thicker lens or thinner lens? Larger power will be power of the lens, power of the spherical lens will be for the thicker lens because the focal length is smaller. So the power would be larger. Alright. So now when the object is very far, something like a moon, the incident rays would be parallel to the principal axis. So they will be focused on the retina. And if the object is at the near point, which is 25 centimeter, so this distance is our U, which is 25 centimeter. So now the rays are again focused at the retina, but you look at the shape of the lens become thicker. Correct? Yes. So now the next question is, it is similar to earlier question, but object is placed at the near point. So calculate the power of the lens. Again, very similar to earlier question. There is a lens, there is an object at how much distance? U is minus 25 centimeter, and it is focusing the image on the retina. So this is the image. There is our V. So what is V? 2.5 centimeter. This plus 2.5 centimeter. So calculate the focal length of this eye lens, and from there calculate the power of the lens. Can you do that? Okay, let's do that. First we need to calculate the focal length. So how do you calculate focal length? 1 by f is 1 by v minus 1 by u. So 1 by f is nothing but, what is 1 by f? What is v? Plus 2.5 minus, what is u? Minus 25. U is negative. Why it is negative? Because it is on the left. If something is on the left, it will be negative. So this is minus 25. So this minus minus will be plus. What is LCM of 2.5 and 25? It is 25. This is 10 plus 1. So this will be 11 by 25. Correct? So this is 1 by f. So focal length is 25 by 11. This is in centimeters. Correct? So how will you calculate the power of the lens? Power is nothing but 1 by focal length, and this should be in meters. Correct? So this is in centimeter. So if you convert into meter, this will be 25 divided by 11 into 100. These many meters. Yes? So now you take inverse of that, 1 by f. So that will be 11 into 100 divided by 25. These many diopters. This is the power of the lens. And can you calculate? So if you calculate, it will come out to be 25 into 4. So 4 into 11 is 44 diopters. You see now, the power is 44 diopters. Earlier, when the object was at infinity, do you remember? We have calculated when the object placed at infinity, the power was 40 diopters. And when you bring the object closer to the near point, so this is the, when the object placed at the near point, that is 25 centimeter. So the power changed to 44 diopters. So there is a change of 4 diopters, and it is due to this ciliary muscles. You see the change in the shape of the lens, and because of that, the power of the lens changed. Clear? Any questions, anyone? Alright, so now let's solve quickly some MCQs very fast. These are very easy questions and all of you should solve it. The human eye forms an image of an object on its cornea, iris, pupil and retina. So where will be the image formed? Image is formed at the retina. See, there is the image forming at the retina. Now, which muscles are capable of changing the shape or the focal length of the lens? So which muscles are capable of it? Is it the vitreous humor, retina muscles, ciliary muscles, iris muscles? So which muscles change the focal length or change the shape of the eye lens? It is ciliary muscles. Correct. Nice, nice. Jugal, Sachindra, Unnati, nice. Khwaish, Bajaj, nice. Great. Alright. So now, when light rays enter the eye, most of the refraction occurs at, what is the region where most of the refraction occurs? Crystalline lens, outer surface of cornea, iris and pupil. Tell me where the most of the refraction occurs. Is it the iris? I don't think so. Is it the pupil? No. Pupil is like an aperture which just controls how much light is going inside. Is it the crystalline lens? Again, no. The crystalline lens focus the image on the retina. So where most of the refraction occurs? Outer surface of the cornea. See, most of the refraction, it occurs at the outer surface of the cornea. Correct. Now, so many of you getting correct answers. Awesome. Okay. So now, the muscular diaphragm which controls the size of the pupil. Okay, I have given you the answer, my bad. So it is the iris which controls the size of the pupil. You see, when the iris relax in bright light, so pupil is contracted, and when iris contracts in dim light, pupil is dilated. Correct. Nice, nice. Yes, amazing. AR, you said first. Great. All right. Now the least distance of a distinct vision. Distinct vision means you don't have to stress your eyes. You just hold your mobile or your book at a minimum distance and your eyes can see. If it is normalized, if there are defects, we'll study those, then we are not considering the defects right now. For the normal eye. Is it 25 meter? No, that is too much. 25 meters is too much. 2.5 centimeter, that is too close. So 2.5 meters and 25 centimeter. It is 25 centimeter. Just that is the minimum distance. You can place anything beyond that, but this is the minimum distance. Okay. So now, why do we have two eyes? All of the humans, they have two eyes. Why? So some other animals, for example, rabbit, they have two eyes, but one eye is on the left, one eye is on the right. They don't have two eyes which are focused in one particular direction. Like some of the animals, they have two eyes in a particular direction. Others have different, like one eye is on the left, another eye is on the right. So why humans have two eyes? You see, the one eye can see this much angle. Another eye sees this much angle. So what happens due to that? So it gives first wider field of view. You see the total angle, which is something like, if there is a 0 degree which is just at the in front of the eyes. So the total angle is 190 degree. So you get wider field of view. Then if the objects are fainter because of the two eyes, you get more light into the eye and you can see clearly. And the third reason which is the most important, it is the perception of depth. Because of the two eyes, you can detect in 3 dimensions if the object is very close or if the object is far. Correct? Yes. For the 3D view or the perception of depth, these two eyes are required. Alright, so now the most important topic is the defects and how to correct them. So there are only 3 defects which we have to learn, and let's find out what are those. The first one is myopia, also called as nearsightedness. Second one is hypermetropia. Sometimes people also call this as hyperopia, but in NCERT it is written hypermetropia. So you should use only this word, also called as farsightedness. And the third one is presbyopia. So you see, look at this shape of the eye. In myopia, the shape of the eye is elongated. You see, the eye is broadened. So that is the reason the light is forming the image before the retina. And in hyperopia, or hypermetropia, the image is formed behind the retina. So let's look at them. First is myopia. Myopia is also called as short-sightedness. Why? Because if the object is very near, you can see them clearly. If the object is very far, those objects are not clearly visible in myopia. So what is the cause? Excessive curvature. You see the eyeball, the shape is increased. So your brain or your lens thinks that, okay, the retina is at this location. So it will try to focus the incoming light at this region. Correct? But now the eyeball has increased. So the eye or the brain are not able to fix that. So that is the reason the object which are beyond certain range, you are not able to see, or this myopic person are not able to see that. Correct? So in that, what happens? The parallel rays from the distant object, such as infinity, for example moon or the stars, we have seen, these are the incident light and the image is formed. Can you see where the image is formed? Image is formed in front of the retina. Correct? So this is how the myopic person will see. If there is a mountain or there is a, let's say, stars, it will appear blurred, not focused image. Right? So now how do we correct it? These are the incident light, incident rays. So we diverge them. So how do we diverge? Using the concave lens. We use a concave lens. You see now the rays are diverged. They are diverged. So now your eye will focus them on the retina. So now they are correctly focused. So this concave lens will have power is negative. So if let's say any one of you wearing specs or anyone in your family wearing specs, then mostly if the power is negative, they have myopia, and this is the shape of the lens that they are using. Hulk, yeah, not Hulk, but defect, yeah, there are a lot of defects. I'm not a bio expert, I know the physics, so maybe you can ask your bio teacher what is the reason for the defects. It is mostly genetics or sometimes due to unhealthy diet. Nowadays we are using a lot of unhealthy food, right? So could be because of that. I'm not a bio expert, but we know how to correct it using physics. That's what I have said in my 1 minute short if you have seen. Alright, so now what happens to the far point? For the normal eye, you remember for the normal eye the far point is infinity, but this far point has shifted. So only the images, only the object which are in this region, they are visible. If an object is, for example, there is an object, so for this myopic person, this object is not visible. Not visible means he is not able to focus that clearly. Okay, so this is the shift in the far point for the myopic eye. So how do we correct it? We use a suitable concave lens and we shift the far point back. So now this is the object. We use a suitable concave lens such that its image is formed at this location. There is a point where image is formed. There is a new far point. Image is forming at the new far point. And where is the object? Object is at old far point, which is infinity. Old far point for the normal eye, which is infinity. Correct? So let's talk about the next defect, that is hypermetropia. It is completely opposite of myopia. So in hyperopia, you see the shape of the eyeball, it changed. Now it get contracted. Due to certain reasons, the eyeball shape has changed. So this is also called as far-sightedness. Why? Because the far objects such as trees, this boat, clouds, they are completely visible. But the near object like your mobile screen or the book you are reading, not clearly visible. So that is why it is called as far-sightedness. Correct? And what happens in that? So there is a normal near point which is 25 centimeter for the normal eye. But if you place an object at this location, at the normal near point which is 25 centimeter, the image is formed behind. Image is getting formed behind. So how do we correct this? So now we need to put a lens which will converge the light. So there is a new near point which is more than 25 centimeter. This could be the old near point which is 25 centimeter. So it has shifted away from the 25 centimeter. So if you place an object at this location, then it is clearly visible. This object is clearly visible. So anything beyond that is clearly visible to this hypermetropic person. Alright. So now how do we correct it? Very easy, very simple. We use a convex lens because we want to converge the light, correct? So if you place the object at this location, there is a location where object is placed at 25 centimeter from the eye, this image should form at the new near point. If the image is formed at the new near point, then this is the focal length, suitable focal length of the convex lens. So if it is convex lens, the focal length would be positive. Even the power of the lens would be positive. So if anyone having the power of the lens as positive, mostly they are having hypermetropia. There is another defect, we'll study that, but most of the times it could be hypermetropia. Alright, so these are the differences. This is very common question in most of the CBSE. What is the difference between myopia and hypermetropia? So first difference is, in myopia, eyeball shape increased. In hypermetropia, eyeball is contracted. And how do we correct it? Myopia, we use concave lens. Hypermetropia, we use convex lens. In myopia, image is formed in front. This is where image is formed in front of the retina. In hypermetropia, image is formed beyond the retina. So these are the general differences between myopia and hypermetropia. All right. So now the third defect, it is called as presbyopia. This is very similar to hypermetropia, like physics wise, but biology, like origin of this defect is completely different. So usually this doesn't happen in young people. Mostly if the age is above 45, they will have presbyopia. So what happens due to that? Gradual weakening of the ciliary muscles. So the muscles which change the shape of this convex lens, they are weak now due to old age. Most likely it is age which is above 45. So these people will have this presbyopia. So the ciliary muscles are not that good, and even the lens is also not that capable of changing, not that easily moldable. Okay, so that is the reason for the presbyopia. So what happens in presbyopia? Again, very similar to hypermetropia. The objects which are closer, not able to see. Objects which are very far, they are clearly visible. So how do we correct the presbyopia? Again, same, we use a convex lens. So mostly, like if in your house you have parents or old like your grandparents, if they are using the lens or they are using the specs to read something, they are having, most of the times it is presbyopia. Okay, and it could be that when I flight, okay, so some people, they can have both of these defects, which do myopia and presbyopia. So my question to you is, can myopia and hypermetropia will be together? Can a person have both myopia and hypermetropia? What do you think? Is it possible to have? Answer is no, because myopia is due to elongation of the eye, hypermetropia is due to contraction. These two things cannot happen simultaneously, but these two can happen simultaneously, right? So there is an elongation of the eye, so that is myopia, and due to old age, there is a presbyopia. So these two can happen at the same time. What about presbyopia and hypermetropia? Can they happen at the same time? Yes, but in that, the correction is very similar. They just have to use convex lens to correct. But if you have, for myopia, we use concave, and for presbyopia, we use convex lens. So now, this is called as bifocal lens. So sometimes if you have seen a lens which is something like this region of the specs is used to look at the object which are very far away. So there is a concave shaped. This region is concave shaped, and this one is convex. Okay, so there is a convex region which is used to look at the object which are very close. All right, so now let's have some questions, and if you remember the star question of the day, we'll solve that at the end. So solve this question. A person cannot see distinctly object kept beyond 2 meters. So if there is an eyeball or there is a lens, so if an object is beyond 2 meters, these objects are not visible. This defect can be corrected by using a lens of power. So what should be the power of the lens? Firstly, tell me what is this defect? Cannot see beyond 2 meters. There is a myopia, correct? So where should be the object? So the far point has shifted. So this is the far point which was infinity for the normal eye. It was shifted to this new far point. And what is this location? It is 2 meters. So this will be our V, which is minus 2 meters. So this is on the left. And what should be there is a far point. So if you place an object at this location, which is at infinity, the image should be formed at the new far point. Correct? So now can you write down what are the given quantities? U is given as minus infinity, V is given as minus 2 meters. So we have to calculate the focal length. So how will you calculate the focal length of this convex lens? We use the lens equation, which is 1 by f is equal to, do you remember? 1 by f is 1 by v minus 1 by u. Correct? So what is v? V is minus 2 meters. This is 1 by minus 2. And what is u? This is just infinity. What is 1 divided by infinity? 1 divided by infinity is 0. So this will be 1 by f is minus 1 by 2. 1 divided by infinity is nothing but 0. Correct? So what is the focal length? Focal length is minus 2 meters. This is in meters, correct? So now tell me what is the power of this lens? Power is 1 divided by focal length, which is 1 divided by minus 2, these many diopters. Correct? So it comes out to be minus 0.5 diopters. Easy? So it is option number B. Easy? Next question. Which of the following statement is correct? So there are 4 statements and only single statement is correct. Other 3 are wrong. So you have to identify which statement is correct. First statement, a person with a myopia can see the distance objects clearly. Myopia person cannot see the distance object. So this statement is wrong. How about the second one? A person with hypermetropia can see the nearby objects clearly. Hypermetropia is opposite of myopia. So even this statement is wrong. How about last statement? A person with presbyopia cannot see the distance object clearly. This is wrong. Presbyopia is similar to hypermetropia. So A, B and D are wrong. How about C? Person with myopia can see the nearby objects clearly. This is correct. So only correct statement is option number C. Clear? Next question. The power of the spectacles of Mahendra is plus 1.5 diopters. So that means he is suffering from, so choose all the correct options. So there can be more than one correct. You have to choose all the correct options. What do you think? Is it myopia, hypermetropia, presbyopia, or all of the above? If it is plus, power is plus, that means what type of lens it is? This is a convex lens. So when do we use convex lens to correct which type of defect? We use convex lens to correct hypermetropia and presbyopia. So B and C are the correct options. Clear? Next one, a person seeing an object closer to his eyes, closer like reading a book or watching mobile. What changes will take place in his eyes? So I'll explain the question again. Let's suppose he is looking at very far object and suddenly start looking at the mobile. So in that process, what changes happen? Pupil size will expand. So is this has to do with the pupil or the iris? The option number D or option number A? No, there is no change in the brightness. So this option A or D, they are wrong. So now option B is ciliary muscles will contract and focal length of the eye lens will increase. What do you think? Is this correct? Focal length of the eye lens will increase. No, this is not correct. When is the maximum focal length? If the object is at infinity, then the focal length is maximum. If you look at the object closer, focal length would be minimum. So in that case, the ciliary muscles, they contract, they apply the pressure onto the lens. So this is the correct option. Clear? Alright, nice, all of you. Lot of you are getting correct answers, nice, great. There is a second last question, and after that we'll solve the today's last question. So solve it fast. So this question, these type of questions will come for 3 marks. This is a 3-mark question because 1 mark for each of the answers, and very easy marks. I can guarantee you, if you just practice this topic, there would be at least 3 to 4 marks for your exams guaranteed only from today's topic. So what is given? A person needs lens of power -4 diopters. The power is negative. So what is the nature of the corrective lens? Negative power means, is it concave or convex? We have only 2 types of lens, concave and convex. There is a concave. Yes? No, convex is not correct. Unnati. Jagat. Yes, correct. Jagat, nice. Maths edits. Supriya, congrats. Unnati, yes. So now, what kind of defect? If we are using a concave lens, there is only one defect which will be corrected by the concave lens. And what is that? It is myopia. See, just 2 words and 2 marks. Easy, right? And the third one, what is the focal length of the corrective lens? So the power is given. Do you know how to calculate the focal length? We know the power formula. Power is 1 by focal length. So focal length should be 1 by power. So this will come out to be in meters. So focal length is 1 divided by power, which is -4 diopters. Correct? And what is 1 divided by -4? It is -0.25 these many meters. You can convert this into centimeters. So focal length will come out to be -25 centimeters. This is the focal length of the corrective lens. Easy 3 marks. Alright. So now this was our star questions. So how many of you could solve it? If this question comes in your exam, in your board exam, final exam, this would be like 5-mark question. Just 3 words, 3 sentences and 5-mark question. And if you can solve it, amazing. I'll give you 1 minute to solve it or read it at least. Okay, there is someone is asking, Unnati is asking, is there any trick to just memorize which defect is which or which lens to correct? Even I get very confused. Bio is not, I am not very good at remembering things. But what I used to do, I used to relate with me. So I had the concave lens. And why did I have concave lens? Because I couldn't see the far objects. Let's suppose there is a bus and something is written on the bus or the shop. I couldn't read that. Right? So I have which type of defect? I have myopia. I couldn't read the things which are very far away. So what type of lens I use? I use concave lens. What was the power of my lens? It was like -2.5 diopters. So it is concave lens myopia. So this is how I used to remember. So just relate to something. Let's suppose if somebody in your family is using the corrective lens. So look at the power and observe that person. Is he able to read the objects which are nearby? Is he able to read is he able to see the objects which are far? Relate to that. That's how you remember. Make it personalized. Okay, so now I'll explain the question. A person can see objects only when they are lie between 50 centimeter and 100 centimeter from the eye. So listen carefully. If there's an eye, for example, and there's a lens here, correct? So the object which are between this range, this is the 100 centimeter, this is a 50 centimeter from the eye. So this distance is 50, and let's suppose this distance is 100, correct? So only in this region the person can see the objects clearly. Anything which is like near to 50, not visible. Anything beyond 100 centimeter, not visible. So this person will need bifocal lens. So there are two types of corrections. And what are those? The far point has came near. There is a shifting of the far point, and the near point, which should be at 25 centimeter, it has shifted away. So these are the two corrections. Yes, chapter 11 is going on, correct? That is correct. There might be some mistake, no worries. Okay, so let's solve this question. So these are the two questions. We'll solve it one by one. So we have the eye here, correct? There is the lens of the eye, and where is the object? There is the object at infinity. If you place the object at infinity, the image should be forming at this location, which is 100 centimeter, correct? And there is a lens, some lens used. So now we don't know which type of lens it is, so I'll erase this. Okay, I'll just mark, let's suppose something. There is a corrective lens. We don't know the nature of this lens, that's why I'm marking this. Okay, some corrective lens, and from the lens it is the image. So now what we have to find out? We have to find out focal length and the power of this lens. So how will you find out? Yes, correct. This is bifocal lens. So this person has two defects, myopia and presbyopia. So this is the myopia, cannot see objects which are far than the 100 centimeter. So now how will you solve this? How will you solve this? Very easy. Object is at infinity. So what is our u? U is minus infinity. This is where the image is going to form. What type of image is this? This is a virtual and erect image. Virtual and erect image formed by the concave lens. So what is V? V is minus 100 centimeter. So we have to find the focal length. How will you find? So 1 by focal length is nothing but 1 by V minus 1 by U. Correct? So just substitute 1 by F is, what is V? Minus 100. So 1 by minus 100 minus, what is 1 by U? U is minus infinity. So this is minus minus plus, but 1 by infinity is nothing but 0. So F from here is minus 100 centimeters. So which is nothing but focal length is minus 1 meters. So if the focal length is 1 meter or minus 1 meter, what is the power? Power is 1 by focal length, which is 1 by minus 1. These many diopters, which is nothing but minus 1 diopter. There is the power. There is a correction to which? There is a correction for myopia. So what is this lens now? There is a concave lens. Yes. So this is the one correction. There is a second correction, and what is that? You see here, any object which is between this region, which is, there is a near point which was 25 centimeter. So anything in this region is not visible. So the near point has shifted. So we have to correct that. So how will you correct that? So what kind of lens we use? We use the convex lens. So let's suppose there is a lens, convex lens. So this is the object. Object is placed at 25 centimeter, and the image will form. This is the image. So what type of image is this? Virtual and erect again, and this is 50 centimeter. So what are the given quantities now? All of them are negative. Both are negative. Why? Because they are on the left. So what is given? U is, where is the object? At 25 centimeter. So U is minus 25 centimeter. V is minus 50 centimeter. So we have to find the focal length. How will you find? So 1 by focal length is 1 by V minus 1 by U. What is V? Minus 50. So it is 1 divided by minus 50 minus 1 divided by What is u? Minus 25. Minus 25. So this minus minus is plus. Correct. What is the LCM of 50 and 25? It is 50. So 1 by f is equal to LCM is 50. So there is minus 1 plus 2, which is 1 by 50. Correct. So what is the focal length? Focal length, take the inverse of that, it would be 50 centimeter. This is a focal length, or in meters, the focal length will come out to be 0.5 meters. Correct. If the focal length is 0.5 meters, what is the power of this lens? Power is 1 by focal length, which is 1 by 0.5, which is 2 diopters. So now, yes, 1 by infinity is 0. Here the 1 by infinity, anything divided by infinity, anything other than infinity divided by infinity would be 0. Correct. So these are the two types. So how will the corrective lens will look like? If there is a lens, so there are two regions. There is a concave region, concave, and this one is convex. So the convex one have power. How much was the power? There is a convex which is 2 diopters plus 2 diopters, and the concave one which has minus 1 diopter. So this is minus 1 diopter. So this is the bifocal lens required to correct this defect. And what are the two defects? Concave means there is a myopia, and convex means there is a presbyopia. So this is how we correct the two defects. Clear? Alright. Yes, 1 by infinity is 0. I think some of you have doubt. 1 divided by infinity is 0. I guess you guys know it. So, but if you don't know it, okay, this is how it is. Alright. So that's it for today. All these notes and assignments will be given on this Telegram channel. Just click on this and the link will be shared in the description. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be learning about prism and we'll be learning about the rainbow formation. So do join us. Bye bye. Take care.